Hey, it's Orlando from the Movement Creative. Just here to show you some progressions towards working towards your Kong vault. I know that's the vault that a lot of students struggle with. So here we go. First, this is going to be the final product, what the Kong vault looks like, also called the cat pass. Alright, so here's the first progression. You want to approach the obstacle at whatever speed you feel comfortable with. You want to get both your hands on the obstacle about shoulder width apart. You're going to jump. You're going to get most of your weight onto your hands and upper body. And you're going to bring your knees up to your chest, and then you're just going to fall back naturally onto the ground. Your feet are going to touch the ground. Looks like this. So that was the first progression. Some common mistakes that I see often are like sometimes people don't put enough weight on the upper body and then they can't get their lower body off the ground. It kind of looks like this. Another mistake I see a lot is instead of bringing your knees up to your chest, people like to bring their heels back to their butt. Really don't want to do that. Looks like this. So now we're going to do the second progression, which is just a natural evolution of the first progression. We're going to do all the same things we did before, except now we're going to push a little more powerfully off of the obstacle. Try to get our feet to land on top of the obstacle. So some issues that people face moving into the second progression or even into the third progression is that they're afraid that their shin or their leg will slam into the obstacle. Things that I think help with that are, for one, make sure that the ball of your feet is pointed up towards you and not out away from you. When you do this, it kind of like laser guides your shin towards the obstacle. If I have this pointed towards me and my knees are up to my chest, if I mess up, I can bounce off the obstacle with my feet instead of just slamming with my leg and falling forward. Another thing that helps is to think about inverting your hips. So if this is my body and this is my head, my hips will be up here, giving me way more room for my lower body to come in. The next progression is very similar to the last progression, except this time, instead of having my hands on the beginning part of the obstacle, I'm going to try and see how far ahead of that point I can get, trying to get as close to the opposite side of the obstacle as possible. So what I mean is this is what it looked like before. See how my hands were here? Now I'm going to try and get my hands here, or even here, or even here. So the important thing to remember about these progressions is that they're progressions, right? So if you can't do a certain progression, the best bet would be to go back to the previous progression and to keep trying that progression over and over and over again until you become comfortable enough that you feel okay managing the risk and moving to the next progression. And then you'll probably be there for a little while. You'll do that progression over and over and over again until you're comfortable sending the next progression. So after that last progression that we just did, the next thing would be to try and send your Kong vault. What I would do is do that previous progression over and over and over again. And then once you feel comfortable, it's time to really push off of that obstacle so that you can bring your knees up to your chest and fall on the other side of the obstacle. Back to the final product, it looks like this.